Islam, Islam, Islam. Praise Allah. Honors to His holy and illustrious Prophet Noble Ali. Honors to his forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who did indeed pave the way for the coming prophet and said, "Up, up, ye mighty race, accomplish what you will." All right. I'm going to read an excerpt of the Philosophies and Opinions of Marcus Garvey. If you can see it, there it goes, right there. Boom. Red, black, and green. So Philosophies and Opinions of Marcus Garvey. Philosophies and Opinions. Boom. Going to page. Oh, wow. It says page 18. Oh, I think the pages got. Oh, this is a. Pardon me. This is a. One of the sections. I'm losing a battery life, so I don't want to waste it. But, anyways, it's page 18. Philosophies and Opinions. It says, "Who and what is a Negro, or Negro in Spanish?" Written April 16th, 1923. The New York World under date, I think that's the newspaper, New York World, under date of January 15th, 1923, which of course is Martin Luther King's birthday, but he hadn't been born yet until 6 years later. But anyways, published a statement of doctors Clark Whistler and France Boas, the latter a professor of anthropology at Columbia University, confirming the statement of the French that Moroccan and Algerian troops used in the invasion of Germany were not to be classified as Negroes because they were not of that race. How the French and these gentlemen arrive at such a conclusion is marvelous to understand, but I feel it is the old-time method of depriving the Negro of anything that would tend to make him recognized in any useful occupation or activity. The custom of these anthropologists is, whenever a black man, whether he be Moroccan, Algerian, Senegalese, or what not, accomplishes anything of importance, he is no longer a Negro. The custom, therefore, suggests itself, who and what is a Negro? The answer is a Negro is a person of dark complexion, or race, who has not accomplished anything, to whom others are not obligated for any useful service. If the Moroccans and Algerians were not needed by France at this time to augment their occupation of Germany or to save the French nation from extinction, they would have been called Negroes as usual. But now that they have rendered themselves useful to the higher appreciation of France, they are no longer members of the Negro race, but can be classified among a higher type as made out by the two professors above mentioned. Whether these professors or France desire to make the Moroccans other than Negroes, we are satisfied that their propaganda before has made these people to understand that their destiny is linked up with, with all other people of color throughout the world. And now that the hundreds of millions of darker peoples are looking toward one common union and destiny through the effort of universal cooperation, we have no fear that the Moroccans and Algerians will take care of the situation in France and Germany, peculiar to the interests of Negroes throughout the world. Let us not be flattered by white anthropologists and statesmen who, from time to time, because of our success here, there or anywhere, try to make out that we are no longer members of the Negro race. If we were Negroes, we were down under the heel of oppression. Then we will be Negroes when we are up and liberated from such thraldom. The Moroccans and Algerians have a splendid opportunity of proving the real worth of the Negro in Europe. And who to tell that one day Africa will colonize Europe, even as Europe has been endeavoring to colonize the world for hundreds of years. Now, of course, for you Moors that I always want to not listen with your two ears and want to speak so quickly, thus you have one mouth for a reason. When Marcus Garvey and his wife, in this concoction and this collaboration and compilation of this beautiful work, and using the term Negro, hence we have to understand that the Universal Negro Improvement Association was founded by Marcus Garvey in 1914. And we have to understand that Marcus Garvey was using terminology that was familiar to the people that were in that time. To the contrary, Prophet Noble Ali explained and instructed to us that we are not Negroes, blacks, colors, or Ethiopians. And we actually are not part of a Negro race, nor a black race, nor a colored race, because there is no such race that exists in the human family. But therefore, we are actually Asiatic by race, and there's several different nations within their Asiatic race, or the conglomerate or the unification of that whole entire human family as being Asiatic. And that's a different lesson than today, but I wanted to read that excerpt and just kind of read some of the words that Marcus Garvey had on his mind in 1920s and what he wanted to share with the people. He did indeed call it the Universal Negro Improvement Association because he knew himself that the Negro needed improvement, is what he explained in that excerpt that I did read to you. In addition to that, it is important that we understand that it's a new era of time. And even in 1920s, we had people that were desiring to uplift our people and take them out of the mental shackles of slavery. And so the same thing applies with Noble Ali explaining to us that we're not Negroes, and Marcus Garvey explaining to us that the Negro needs improvement. In addition to that, Malcolm X was the one who also explained to us that we were not Negroes, especially after he left the Nation of Islam. And it may have been when he was in the Nation of Islam, but he explained how Negro goes back to correlation to the Greek meaning necro, which means something that is dead. Necrophilia is unfortunately a behavior that is practiced with people having sex with the dead. So necro and negro are very much close together, and it correlates to something that is dead or something that is has no life. It's a condition rather than an actual complexion or a skin color, or what the case may be, as was explained in the excerpt. Hence the Rio de Negro in West Africa, also known as South America, that explains that the water has no flow. It's considered to be dead water. And also I wanted to make my small comment to the Moors versus Moorish American video. I mentioned that Mauritania didn't exist, but Mauritania definitely does exist, but it is a lot smaller than it was in ancient times. So I wanted to make that correction publicly. And with that, I say peace and love.